On this episode of China Uncensored, party on, dude! The Communist Party wants to be the strongest party in the world. And the Catholic Church and the Communist Party, they go together like peas and cyanide. Plus, is it a Titanic sequel or a Titanic mistake? This is China Uncensored. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. A 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit China's Sichuan province Tuesday night. Hundreds were injured and at least 20 people were killed. Fortunately, the area hit the hardest was a relatively unpopulated nature preserve called Jiuzhaigou. But it is a popular tourist destination, so 50,000 people had to be evacuated from the area. But don't worry, everyone. Chinese state-run media was there to cover the important news, like reassuring the world that the pandas are okay. Oh, and the foreigners are fine too. You know, a lot of times we focus on the Chinese Communist Party. But really, we should be focusing on the Chinese Communist Party. It's been a wild year. The 90-year anniversary of the party's military. A big party congress later this year. And like every really good party, there's been lots of purging of corrupt leaders. Yes, this party can't stop, won't stop. And now they've announced a new mission, to be the strongest party in the world. Good thing this week was World Baijiu Day, where they drink the strongest alcohol in the world. Oh yes, the purging has only begun. Now when you think of the Trump administration, you might think of tinfoil. And for good reason. The U.S. Department of Commerce has put a levy on Chinese tinfoil, technically aluminum foil. Apparently, some Chinese foil companies were getting unfair subsidies from the Chinese government, which makes me realize something. In China, the government really is watching you all the time. And if they're supporting the tinfoil industry, oh my gosh, it was a government conspiracy all along. Anyway, speaking of conspiracies, the Grammys. A secret plot to make you excited about musicians you never cared about in the first place. Well, now the Grammys want to go to China to do a tour showcasing some of their nominated artists. One small problem. Some musicians think they should be allowed to have opinions about China. No. Already last month, China announced Justin Bieber wouldn't be allowed to perform in China due to undisclosed bad behavior. Which left me torn. Which do I dislike more, Justin Bieber or the Chinese Communist Party? But it's not just Justin Bieber that's banned. Less terrible musicians are affected too, like Lady Gaga, Bon Jovi, and Selena Gomez. They've all had concerts canceled in China because of things they've said about the Dalai Lama or Tibet. So the Grammys have pledged to bring only well-behaved artists to meet Chinese censors' demands. Remember, artists, you can say whatever you want about the American government, just don't criticize the Chinese Communist Party. On another note, the Catholic Church. It has no official diplomatic relationship with the Chinese Communist Party, but the Chancellor of the Vatican's Pontifical Academy of Sciences was in Kunming this week attending an organ transplantation conference. You know, a conference held in a country where the authorities are definitely not killing political prisoners by harvesting their organs. Now it seems that some officials in the Catholic Church are trying to build a relationship with the Chinese Communist Party despite its ongoing crackdown on Christians and on religion in general. Because they're tired of the party picking all the bishops and forcing believers to belong to the Chinese Patriotic Catholic Association where, you guessed it, patriotism is more important than God. Anyway, as part of building that relationship, earlier this year, the Vatican held a conference about organ trafficking and invited China. Specifically, the guy in charge of China's organ transplant system, the system that's murdered thousands of innocent people to sell their organs like a Walmart for body parts. Which is kind of like inviting the big bad wolf to a conference on the structural integrity of pig houses. The Vatican defended their decision. I believe their spokesperson called it an eye for an eye, a liver for a liver. Speaking of bad decisions, a Chinese company is building a replica of the Titanic. It's meant to be a tourist attraction. Now, you might think this is a risky venture. Every Titanic in history has sunk, the original from 1912 and the remake in 1997. But to ensure that this boat will go on, they've decided to build it in Sichuan province, 600 miles from the nearest ocean. At least you can stand on the bow and yell, "I'm chairman of the world!" Thanks for watching. Sadly, you're still missing out. This is only part of our weekly show. The whole half-hour show is available now if you visit China-Uncensored.tv. We publish our show there every Friday afternoon. See you there.